Wrestling fans, our 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive is kicking off with an early, unexpected bang as recent WWE NXT Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush will be joining us live Thursday, November the 5th, here at MWF Studios in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts, the zip code of champion 02176. A lot has been said about Lio while he was with WWE. A lot has been said about Lio since he was released by WWE during the coronavirus outbreak in April. We'll be taping a special Wrestling Insider Rush Hour miniseries to let Lio tell his story his way. At 8 p.m. that night, we'll be going live around the corner and around the world for a special cyber autograph signing where you can get a personalized autograph photo from Lio sent directly to your home. For complete information, visit bostonwrestling.com.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, we want to wish you a very happy and safe Halloween under the most unusual of circumstances in 2020, as it feels like it's Halloween every day where we always have the masks on. Welcome to another bonus edition of Wrestling Insider's Current Events, where we break down WWE SmackDown underneath the WWE Thunderdome at the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, Friday, October the 30th, 2020. It feels like winter here at MWF Studios in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts. The zip code of champion 02176 is covered in snow after a little early fall storm we had last night. Reminds me of the snowstorm we had on Halloween. I think it was back in 2011 when I was still with everyone's favorite Halloween witch, Linda Mirade. I'm looking forward to seeing the original Halloween movie tonight. For the very first time at a movie theater. It actually came up before I was born, even though I may be a relic at this point to some. It is a big, exciting week for us as we not only kick off the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive, but we'll be joined by recent WWE NXT Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush live in studio this Thursday night, November the 5th at 8 p.m. Lio joins us before Wrestling Insiders with Marty Jannetty at 9 p.m. in its regular time slot. The controversial, much talked about Lio was axed by WWE like Michael Myers on Halloween night, along with 30 or so of his co-workers during the coronavirus outbreak in April. A lot has been said about Lio when he was with WWE. A lot was said about Lio after he was released by WWE. This is his chance to tell his story his way. Best of all, for you, Lio will be available for autographs that he's going to sign live on camera in studio. He'll personalize it if you want, and then we'll mail it right to your home. This is Lio's first time with us in studio in 5 years. I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about the content we're going to produce. Lio's a really good egg for those of you that have never met him in person. I'm very interested to go back and forth, banter, talk about what the heck happened during his time in WWE, because the person that I know certainly isn't what was described by third, fourth, fifth parties and such online. Lio is just the first of at least 11 superstars that will be joining us for the Paul Bearer Toy Drive in 2020. If you missed the big announcement Friday, have no fear. Even though it is Halloween, you should have some fear inside of you. We'll include the video at the end of tonight's review. I understand Maria Davis has already purchased not one, not two, but 7 VIP packages. I'm very impressed with her. Tina only got 3. Lio is the first superstar to help our mission of updating Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's house this Christmas, putting smiles on faces while honoring the late, great Paul Bearer, who we continue to miss each and every day. We have even more good news to share with you on All Hallows Eve, as even though it's only October 31st, it's only October 31st. See, I wrote this wrong. And believe it or not, a lot of the times I have cliff notes. Even though the metrics that I look at are only available through October 30th, we have already set another record for monthly views on this fine channel, topping the record we set last month. So what can we do to keep it growing and keep these wrestling legends working at a time when they've been out of work for 8 months? No live wrestling events. Very sparse cyber autograph signings. No fan fests. Well, since you asked, did you ask? I'll pretend you did. What can we do to keep these wrestling legends working? There's actually quite a few ways. Number one, share. Share links to our videos across your social media. Text it, email it. If you can be PC and be physically distanced, I hate the term social distance. We'll say physical distance from someone 6 feet away. Yell it out the window if you can. It doesn't cost a penny, and we need to grow this family even bigger to get where we want to be to help make our ultimate vision a reality. It's all about you guys. It's simple. Without professional wrestling fans, shows like this don't exist. The professional wrestling industry doesn't exist. If you interact with people or wrestling promotions that lose track of the fact that professional wrestling fans are number one, don't waste your time with them. Number two, hit the thumbs up button on this video. The more people showing love to this in each of our videos, the more love YouTube shows to us in suggesting our videos to other fans that come to the website. Number three, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. It provides you with updates on new videos and access to well over 2,000 free videos. Fans, if you've had enough politics, and what a crazy night it's probably going to wind up being, WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas is back with us on election night, Tuesday at 9 p.m., where he shoots on a tale of two Kamalas, managers, and more. No matter what you do at the ballot box, we hope you'll vote to be with us for Wrestling Insiders at your house Tuesday night. Along with 3 weekly in-studio shoot interview talk shows, our 3 television review podcasts, Wrestling Insider flashback videos. We've got special episodes online with WWE Hall of Famer Brutus the Barber Beefcake, pay-per-view watch-alongs, both live and current, and so much more. Don't forget that on Survivor Series Sunday, November the 22nd, Vicky Guerrero joins us in studio for the very first time. As always, we're very interested in your thoughts on last night's SmackDown. We hope the whole gang is with us here, even though it is a somewhat of a holiday Saturday night. We're talking about Slick Rick B, Maria Davis, Tina, Tania, Trigger Trey, Ken, all of the Kevins that check in, Big Ant from Thunder Valley, Will Cortez, Larson when he behaves himself, all of the regulars we enjoy hanging out with. Whether you're watching the live premiere with us Sunday at 9 p.m. or you're watching it in the archives, share your thoughts on SmackDown using the 1 to 10 scale. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What did you think of last night's show? While we give our friends a chance to pop on in and join us for the SmackDown review, let's get a couple of cheap plugs out of the way. Folks, as always, if you want that early, ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insiders in-studio shoot interviews, our world-renowned studio shoot interview DVD series, and to simply help keep wrestling legends working, join our growing family over at Patreon, patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Forgo a Starbucks coffee and enjoy what I believe is now over 100 programs. You'll never have the pro wrestling blues with Boston Wrestling Sports. If you're not a fan of horror movies, tonight might be a great night to check it out. Our big goal before the end of 2020 is to try and have 100 regular Patreons. And with the quality and quantity of the shows we produce, I'm confident we're going to get the job done because of great folks like you. With so much going on, I could easily go for a Monster, a Red Bull, but what I really need is a couple of hits of that Boost Oxygen, where in a matter of seconds I can go from Reno Chastain to Bob Snow alert, ready to appear on Jeopardy with Alex Trebek before he calls it a day. If you haven't tried Boost Oxygen yet, you should. It's available at fine retailers everywhere, as well as boostoxygen.com. Whether you enjoyed SmackDown last night and want to create a little WWE mayhem of your own, or you feel like maybe you could do a better job than the creative team, the brand new WWE 2K Battlegrounds game is available now. For complete information, head on over to www.2k.com/Battlegrounds. Little Marty, Junior Ambassador Devon Brent, who I sure hope stays out of trouble at the age of 15 on Halloween night. He says it's the best WWE game that's been released over the past couple of years, and believe me, this kiddo knows his video games. as my credit cards can attest to. Check it out. If you want to know where I can help find a PS5 for Christmas, again, please, I implore you, hook a brother up. Slide into the DMs. I got to find the PS5. If you only knew what I went through for the PS4, Quincy, who sometimes runs in on our Thursday night programs, and I actually waited at Best Buy for 6.5 hours to get the PlayStation 4 for this young gentleman for Christmas. With the holidays coming up, it is never too early to start shopping on our eBay store. The link is in the comment section below and on BostonWrestling.com. We have an auction, not auction, even though they are kind of auctions on eBay, right? We have an awesome collection of rare autographed wrestling memorabilia for sale that includes a video shout-out thank you from WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas on Wrestling Insiders itself as our thanks for helping keep our shows going. That's right. You make a purchase on eBay or on our store on BostonWrestling.com, you get an on-air shout-out from a WWE Hall of Famer. That's how much we need you, and that's how much we appreciate you. We really do appreciate the help. And don't forget, Tony is available for commissioned artwork, prints, personal phone calls, cameo-style video greetings, autographs, and much more. We are hoping to have Tony back in studio with us live Saturday night, November the 14th, which would be 2 weeks from tonight. If you could see the look on my face right now, realizing it's only going to be 2 weeks until I get another 7-hour videotaping session with Tony. Smile galore, believe me. Finally, we have a really cool WWE t-shirt bundle fundraiser going on at bostonwrestling.com/shirts.html. For the regular price of a t-shirt on WWEshop.com, you not only get the t-shirt, but you get a WWE cup, you get a mystery autograph photo, and again, you get that on-air shout-out from Tony Atlas thanking you on Wrestling Insiders. We've got brand new shirts of Bray Wyatt, Undisputed Era, Roman Reigns, John Cena, Hulk Hogan, the Macho Man Randy Savage, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The New Day, the NWO, and tons more. Legends and current superstars help the show. Get yourself some new swag. With that said, joining me right now, a man who said for Halloween he wants to be a man that doesn't enjoy his socks. We're talking about Southwestern Connecticut's finest, Mr. Matt Degnan. All right, Matt, I tell you, I don't know how you sit through those openings sometimes. You didn't have much to say as I rolled through the news and notes as all of our great friends join us. But what did you think of last night's SmackDown? We got a lot to review.
I thought it was actually a pretty good SmackDown.
You enjoyed
overall.
SmackDown.
I enjoyed it for the first time in a while.
All right.
But, hey.
What happened?
We'll get right into it.
I have to say, I fell asleep in the middle of SmackDown. It was such a long day at the studio. I actually conked out at the end of the tag team. I don't know if it was a tag team title match, but the tag team match. And I woke up in the middle of John Cena Sr.'s Fabulous Friday with the laptop on my chest. The first vision I had was of John Cena Sr.'s Thunderdome. But anyway, please.
To kick off SmackDown, fresh off his successful title defense at Hell in a Cell, Roman Reigns came out with Paul Heyman to confront his opponent from Sunday, Jey Uso. Roman was trying to get Jey to join his side and for him to fall in line with the rest of the family, but Jey wasn't really having it. I thought it was a good segment to open the show. A lot of emotion and very intense, which we don't see a lot in WWE these days. They've done a very, very good job with this storyline. I mean, usually you just want storylines to end in WWE and they go too long. But this is one I have no problem with it going 2-3 months, which I'm happy with because it's an actually good storyline besides the pointless drivel they put out today. There's more that came with this little storyline later in the night, but we'll get into that later. What did you think of the opening of the show?
Well, I enjoyed the video highlight package from Hell in the Cell on Sunday. The only quorum I had with that was that you had Jey Uso in the ring already without an entrance. Roman was making his entrance, and then for several minutes, apparently, these men were just supposed to stand still and do nothing. Is this several minutes long video played? But that's WWE, I guess. When they finally came back to the ring, he was nearly in tears, and it was believable. It was almost like he had to rewatch the last month's worth of Raws. He was ready to cry so much. But Roman was really great. He was silent but deadly. I still think that version of Roman would have worked great as a babyface years ago, but that's a different story for a different time. Roman made it sound like he was trying to get Jay to join the mafia the way he was talking to him. Jay was screaming, "I hate you," like a wild man, and Roman, very quiet and confidently, said, "I love you." By the end of the night, Jay had to fall in line or he'd be out of the family. Again, this felt very real, very intense. It felt very unlike most of WWE in 2020, and unfortunately, like most of the rest of the show. But there we go. A great opening segment, to say the least.
Good. The next match, or the next segment, Kevin Owens defeated Dolph Ziggler to qualify for the SmackDown Men's Team at Survivor Series. Two things I really didn't like. Why would two guys who were on Raw 2 weeks ago care about SmackDown? Kevin Owens hasn't been on SmackDown since probably 2018. And Dolph Ziggler, he's been on Raw and SmackDown back and forth.
Like a whore.
Years. Yeah, they're whoring him out. But why would these two guys care about Raw or SmackDown when they've been on Raw just 2 weeks ago? So why
would any of them care, I guess, at the end of the day? Yeah. It is everything you said and more. The Survivor Series qualifying matches, there's no consequences to any of the actual matches or the event itself. Yeah, you had Bobby Roode out there throwing Owens in the ring, which I thought should have been a disqualification for him putting his hands on the wrestler, but instead he was just sent to the back. I did like the spot where Owens went for the pop-up powerbomb and Dolph turned it into the Famouser. I thought that was a really cool transition. Owens wins with the flea market version of the Stone Cold Stunner to join Team SmackDown. Again, to oppose Team Raw, as you mentioned, a show he was just on 2 weeks ago. That's why nobody cares, because nobody is invested, because the wrestlers aren't invested in the brands.
And then the other thing I noted was I really don't like Kevin Owens wearing jeans.
No, I agree with you on that. You're right. It makes him look even more bootleg.
They're trying to make him too much like a Steve Austin type of knockoff character from our good friends over at Dollar Tree, as we were there a couple weeks ago.
We were?
Yeah, remember?
No.
We went in there and...
yeah, that's right. I do kind of remember. I remember the gentleman that was struggling to get into Marshall's.
He's probably still trying to get in there.
Well, it is Halloween. Hopefully he's going to get in.
But it's just, I really don't like the jeans. I only like them for, as we usually say, street fights and Hell in a Cell, no disqualification type of matches. And he's been wearing them for every single match for the past couple months. They've kind of changed him up a little bit, going away from the shorts and the t-shirt to a cut-off t-shirt and jeans with Under Armour.
Yeah,
with Under Armour sneakers. But I don't know. The match itself was solid, but
I just didn't care.
You don't care today, but the wrestling itself is solid. But storylines and the backing of it is just garbage. But really, nothing we can do is they never really seem to call us.
No.
The next segment, Lars Sullivan did an interview with Corey Graves. WWE is slowly moving Sullivan's name to the Freak, and this segment pushed that even more. I hate the heavily scripted promos. They feel so fake and have no power behind them at all. It just feels like they're just kind of lifeless, and they're just rattling off lines that they were trying to remember 5 minutes before. The ending of it was hilarious. I loved when Lars said he assaulted many people as a child, and then Corey Graves just goes, "So what do you think you'll accomplish in WWE?" Just kind of just blowing off that Lars Sullivan just claimed that he assaulted middle schoolers for calling him ugly. And then Graves just tends to not even care that he just admitted to that and goes, "So what do you think you'll accomplish in WWE?"
Well, maybe he didn't care. Maybe he was like everybody else.
Yeah. What did you think of this? I thought the segment was okay. If it wasn't as scripted, I think it would come off better. But it just, to me, I thought the idea was okay, but just the execution wasn't too good.
This is cranky Saturday morning, Dan, even though it's a little later than usual. We have to do our Saturday morning podcast early. I figured I'd try and sneak in at noon today just so I could try and get a little extra sleep, and I was wide awake at 6 a.m., so you can imagine the big grin on my face. No, this was one that was fucking terrible. Everything that was wrong that they could do with this guy was done here, short of putting the pink Mickey Mouse shirt on him like they did with Miro and AEW. This was just as bad. The content was horrible. The interview was horrible. The way he speaks is horrible. This hurt Lars Sullivan instead of helping him. I don't know if they were trying to recreate the Mankind Jim Ross interview from 1997, but this certainly was not that, to say the least. I came away far less impressed with Lars Sullivan sitting there in a polo than I did from when he came out and kicked ass. That's how the man needs to be delivered. If you want to have someone talking for a guy with an underbite and a lisp, give him a manager.
The thing with Lars, he's one of the people that if he talks less and does less interviews, the better it is for him. Putting him in a polo and a director's chair backstage with Corey Graves asking him stupid questions does not help him at all.
You made the freak seem human, and that's the problem.
Yes. I think what would have made it a lot better, well, I mean, I would definitely give Lars either a mouthpiece or just have no one talk for him and just have him go out there and beat the shit out of people. And I think that would be much better. But what also would have been better is if it was shorter and you would have had Corey Graves asking him questions and Lars either giving short answers or no answers at all. Just the more he talks, the more it hurts him.
It was just, it shouldn't have happened at all. It was very ineffective, and it's going to wind up hurting him. He shouldn't come across as human if they want to call the guy the freak. But again, they didn't call. They didn't invite me down to the Amway Center. I would have worn the mask. I would have taken the temperature check, every precaution needed to help enlighten them on some different trains of thought about the presentation of SmackDown and Lars Sullivan. But again, that moment in time didn't happen. Speaking of moments in time, what was up next is something I certainly wish was a moment in time in my life I could take back. Describe, sir, please.
Please. The next segment, this one, I'll tell you. Murphy's apology was the next segment. He tried to apologize to the Mysterio family for everything he did to them. But instead, Seth Rollins comes out instead of the Mysterio family. And buckle in for this one, because this gets a little all over the place. In the middle of Rollins talking, Dominic attacks Seth. And then Murphy and Dominic end up brawling. And then Mysterio and Murphy end up fighting. And then it was just all over the place. You got these people fighting. Someone else comes out. They're fighting. Someone else comes out. Then they're fighting. It was just all over the place.
You might call it a melee.
Yeah. And then after that, Aaliyah says she loves Murphy. And then she ends up kissing Murphy, which I thought was not needed at all. The segment was just all over the place and not good. It's just been a pointless feud since March that no one really cares about. I don't know how Fox would want this on their show. I mean, if I was a Fox executive and I was looking at this shit, I would say, why has this been going on since March? Even if I worked for WWE, why would you keep putting this out there? I mean, the viewership for this week was actually not that bad. So, I mean, but I don't know. I would love to see the little 15-minute spot viewership for this segment, because this is a channel clicker to, I don't even know what else was on last night, but this is a channel clicker for me.
It was every level of bad, because every person and everything involved in it was just terrible. Murphy, as I've noted, he needs a fresh coat of paint. He needs something, but this certainly isn't it. This romance with Aaliyah, you know, it's atrocious. Aaliyah might be a pretty girl. She has no personality. She has no delivery. She's certainly not a trained actress. Very unbelievable, very forced. Speaking of forced, bland, boring, and unbelievable, you have the Monday Night Messiah, who is like a rice cake. He has just nothing to offer with any taste right now. Dominic Mysterio runs out, not looking much like a professional wrestler, with punches that certainly don't look like punches thrown by a professional wrestler. And then you have the one guy that can still, I shouldn't say that. That's an insult towards Seth Rollins and Murphy's in-ring ability. But the one guy that hasn't been castrated too much by all this, Rey Mysterio, comes out to try and save the day with all of his teenage-looking kids' drama. This boring guy that's the leader of some kind of a boring cult that no one cares about, and the former acolyte that is now in love with his daughter, and it was just a disaster from beginning to end. It's terrible. It's the reason why the popularity is in the shitter right now in the company. Whether the ratings were up a couple 100,000 people this week, down a couple 100,000 people this week, it's still in the shitter because of reasons like this. Damn it. I'm on fire, baby. I need a little boost of oxygen. Where is Kevin O'Leary with my boost of oxygen, baby? Do I need to find a fine retailer?
Or you can make it easier on yourself and just go to boostoxygen.com.
As long as it's all right with Kevin. All right.
Yeah. Not like our Kevin at TGI Fridays.
No. He would have said it's, Kevin would have had some choice comments right around 12:59 before the lights came on. It's what you call passive-aggressive, as he likes to say.
The next match, which I'm sure you don't remember much of, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions.
The eyes were getting heavy at this point.
The Street Profits defeated Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura in a non-title match. Again, it's a solid match, but nobody cares. We saw the same exact match. I believe it was 2 times a couple weeks ago, and it's just, there's nothing wrong with these guys. They're all good athletes, good wrestlers. They put on good matches, but it's just when you throw stuff out there and there's no backing to it, and just if there's no substance, why would people care? You might say, oh, that was a good match, but then you just move on. It's nothing you're going to think about after the show or
you move on.
Go into You're not going to go into next week thinking, oh, I wonder what's going to happen with this. They just don't do that anymore. There's no hooks anymore. I got to see what's happening with this next week. It's just, okay, good match, next.
I thought it was sad that Shinsuke Nakamura had to take a 3 count from Montez Ford, but that's just one man's opinion. They continue to try and make fans interested in the New Day representing Raw, Street Profits representing SmackDown. When they've both only been there a couple of weeks, match may wind up being good. I have no interest in it. Montez Ford is just, he doesn't bring a lot of credibility to the table. He's a great athlete. Maybe if he was playing basketball or track or something like that, just not pro wrestling. I'll say this, Angelo Dawkins seemed like he was moving a little quicker. For a guy that's been around so long, I'd like to see Angelo get himself into better shape. I think it would only help him, but that's just one man's opinion.
Not like my Angelo.
No, certainly not. No. But that's what I thought of that thrilling tag team encounter that literally made me fall asleep.
Do you know what time it is?
No, I don't.
It's boss time.
Ugh.
New SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks comes out to celebrate her title victory from Sunday at Hell in a Cell, but Bayley comes out to rain on the party. Bayley then challenges Sasha Banks next week for the SmackDown Women's title, just handing out rematches and title matches. I remember when Triple H said that they're going to do away with title rematches, and here we go, another title rematch. I'm not a big fan of the rematch clauses when you lose your title. It's just a cash out way of getting rematches for titles and extending feuds. I don't know.
I disagree with you on that.
It's okay, but it's not the greatest. But does anybody really think Sasha Banks is going to lose next Friday? Come on.
Bayley I hate to say it, but Bayley actually made a fairly decent point in her promo that, Sasha usually chokes when she wins the title and she loses them pretty quick. If you look back at her past championship singles runs,
I know. She doesn't defend them. I don't think she's ever defended a title successfully. But, doing it 2 weeks after, come on. I really can't see Sasha losing. If they have her lose 2 weeks after, it's going to be awful.
Well, luckily on the DVR, there's a button. It's called the 30-second skip that I have. And I used that several times through segment, so I didn't maybe see as much of it as you did when Bailey Mahoney came out missing her steel chair. But
Because Sasha had it.
I have to say I was impressed far more with their match Sunday at the pay-per-view than I thought I would be, but this promo was nothing I had much interest in. Don't have much interest in the rematch next week. We can only hope for the best. Knock on wood.
I really don't think it's going to end clean.
No.
I don't think they're going to have
It's gonna be real dirty.
I don't know. I think it's just going to have some bullshit involved in it. The main event, Jey Uso defeated Daniel Bryan to qualify for the SmackDown men's team at Survivor Series. It was a solid 10-minute match that made Jey look very, very good. After the match, Jey Uso took out Daniel Bryan as Roman looked on in approval, and Jey finally joined Roman's side and acknowledged him as the tribal chief, the head of the table, whatever you want to say.
The Pete Tringali of the Anawais.
Yeah, and he fell in line with the rest of the family. I thought, for being a 10-minute match, I thought it was solid overall. What did you think?
No, I was really impressed with this match. I thought it was a great main event. To see who was going to get the second spot on the SmackDown men's team at Survivor Series. It's always good to see a healthy Daniel Bryan, who actually competed here in Boston Wrestling Sports, MWF, when he was actually WWE United States Champion in 2011. The start to the match was excellent. Before they went to the commercial break, the tribal chief made his way to the ring. I almost thought it was a bit of an upset with Jey Uso going over clean with a splash off the top rope. 1, 2, 3 in the middle, just like he got on AJ Styles, especially where they were going to turn him heel moments later. It was an impressive match. I thought it was creative from WWE. After the match, Roman comes in the ring, and Jey says he's with him as he continued to spaz out. He says Roman is the head of the table. And then he turned heel, super kicking Daniel in the face, hit him with another splash off the top rope. Roman said he had to make Daniel Bryan understand, so Jey rolled him out of the ring. I was waiting for him to pull a kendo stick from underneath the ring. Luckily, we didn't see that, but instead, they did another thing they can't resist for at least one time on one wrestling show, which was clear off the announcer's table and give him a splash off the top rope through it. Then as the show was going off the air, he got really violent. He continued to smash the back of Daniel Bryan's head off of the table. I thought it was a very, very effective angle. I like everywhere they're going with it. It's been the best part of everything WWE recently, in my personal opinion.
We really flew through this big review.
Good.
I mean, for a 2-hour show,
Lawson might not be happy.
Well, we'll see as we record this earlier. We'll see what everybody's talking about tonight, and we'll see what everybody's gonna grade SmackDown. I'm gonna do it a little differently with the grade tonight. We're not gonna do 1 to 10. Was SmackDown a trick or a treat?
Oh, please. Was SmackDown a trick or a treat? How the hell am I supposed to answer that?
Was it a treat to watch, or did they trick you?
Other than the opening segment and the main event, they tricked me. The first and the last segment were treats. Everything else in between, I could have done away with very easily in my life.
Yeah, I had it as a trick. I don't know. The middle of it was kind of gross. I'm trying to compare it to a bar. Maybe like, what are those things called? Almond Joys?
You like Almond Joys?
No. It looks good, but then you bite into it and you're like, gross.
I've never been an Almond Joy guy, believe it or not.
No, that's the thing.
It's like Hollywood Barani over at the Salon, 347 Pleasant Street, downtown Malden, Massachusetts. Noelle Salon, she likes to put the Kit Kats in the freezer. So it's a treat for her. She loves the Kit Kats in the freezer.
I put Kit Kats in the freezer.
You put Kit Kats in the freezer too? Really?
Yeah.
All right, well.
Even the wrestling last night, the wrestling was solid, but
most of the show belonged in the freezer, but that's a different story for a different time.
I would say it belonged more in the garbage because the freezer's going to preserve it.
No,
but
yeah, that's true. like the Sami Zayn promo, looking like his usual janitorial staff self.
Yeah.
But if you
do you
were
want
to give it an actual grade, would you like to do that too, or do you?
Oh,
wanna...
we could
All right.
do that
I'm
too.
big on numbers. I'm a numbers guy.
Yeah. 1 to 10, I'd probably like a 4.
Really?
Other than the opening segment and the closing segment and the solid wrestling, when you have a 2-hour show and only about a half hour of it was good, I mean, you have 1/4 of the show that was solid. I mean, even if you take out the wrestling matches, I mean, Owens and Ziggler was solid and the tag team match was solid, but they didn't have any oomph to them. You didn't have any.
You needed a little oomph.
Yeah. So, I mean, you had a good 10-minute main event, good 10-minute opener, and 2 solid 10-minute matches. So about 35 to 40 minutes. So out of a 2-hour show where 3/4 of it was stuff you could just throw in the garbage, I'd give it about a 4.
Well, I'm a little off from you this week. 2 weeks ago, I was very high on SmackDown. I gave it, I believe, the highest rating I've given any show since we've started to review them, when I gave SmackDown an 8. Last week, when you were leaf peeping and I was with the Tinder peeping Dave Carter, I only gave it a 4 out of 10. This week, I liked the opening and the ending of the show so much, I gave it a 6. And if the rest of the show didn't suck so much, I would have liked to have gone higher.
I just think when there's so much to throw away in the show, it just
lots.
I mean, you could throw away the Lars interview. You could throw away the Murphy segment. You could throw away. I mean, Sasha and Bailey, you can't really throw that away.
Ladies and gentlemen, but I am sorry to interrupt you, but the individual known as Susie Big Ass is pulled up in front of the studio. Now, see, I only wish it didn't snow. I think it snowed here last night, right?
Yes.
Susie is the daughter of the family that owns this fine studio, and under normal circumstances, when there is no snow, she likes to bend over in front of the windows and pick up the trash. And knowing my sense of humor, I have great amusement in this. Sometimes, to entertain my peers here at the studio, I break out into my best JR and commentate over Susie Big Ass picking up the trash in the grass. But anyway, Susie just left, so continue. Sorry to interrupt you. I apologize, but that was breaking news.
Yeah. Do you want to guess the viewership for last night?
Well, last week they were on FS1, right?
Yes.
And they're coming off the week of a pay-per-view, which should also help.
There's the bear.
No baseball. I'll say 2-1.
2,133,000,000.
Telling you, this kid, I'm telling you.
That guy.
Well, no, that's the man that almost has a faction bigger than the Firefly Funhouse. Vicente Ray Wasco, his breasts, and Mr. Socko. The faction is growing. Hopefully we'll see the whole crew the early week in December as part of the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlock Story Drive.
I mean, the viewership was solid. I mean, for what they've been doing,
But I mean, really, is it solid? I mean, okay, it might go up a couple 100,000 people.
No,
it
but
might go down a couple 100,000 people. I mean, it kind of is what it is. Last week, obviously, was different because they were on a different channel. That's expected to tank.
But I mean, it's solid if you have short-term or long-term memory loss. But I mean, some people usually have both. But
if you told me this week it was like a 1-6 or a 2-4 or a 2-5, I really would have been impressed either way. But for it to be in that range, it's just kind of a shoulder shrug. If right now at this point, if it falls between, I'd say 1-8 to 2-2, it's nothing to be excited about. It's nothing to be too worried about. It kind of is what it is.
I mean, it's a lot better than what Raw has been doing. Raw needs to go back to 2 hours.
That's what Lawson said.
The 3-hour shows are just grueling. A bunch of it just seems like filler bullshit, just because they're trying to get as many people out there just to fill time. It doesn't seem that good. But we'll see what happens on Raw this coming Monday as we do our review on Tuesday.
Yes, for a very big week ahead here in the world of Boston wrestling. But were there any big scoops coming out of SmackDown? I know you're big on the news and notes.
No, this week
There's
they didn't.
none.
The only thing they announced for next week is Bayley and Sasha, which we noted earlier in the show. But they haven't announced anything for next show, and there's no injuries or anything coming out of SmackDown. So everything right now is pretty shipshape. I mean, we're about 12 hours, a little bit over that, past SmackDown from last night. So there's not much coming out of it.
Well, I'm really disappointed. So I guess we can hit the old take-it-home button a little sooner than anticipated. Don't forget, fans, we have a big week ahead, as I noted, with Tony Atlas Wrestling Insiders. Election Night Tuesday at 9 p.m. The man tells a story, a tale of two Kamalas. It's going to be an interesting one. Then, Thursday night at 8 p.m., L-I-V-E Live. Recent WWE Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush returns to MWF Studios for the first time in 5 years as we kick off the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive. He will be conducting a cyber autograph signing for you. You can head on over to bostonwrestling.com for complete information and autograph tickets. Earlier in the day, we're going to be taping almost a mini-series with Leo. I don't know if he's going to be a weekly regular like some of the great individuals we have with us, but at the very least, we're going to have this mini-series, The Rush Hour. After we go live with Leo at 8, at 9 p.m., don't you worry, Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Marty Jannetty is back. John Cena Sr., immediately following SmackDown on Friday night at 10 p.m., is going to be with us in studio. And then you want more live Boston wrestling? Well, baby, you've got it. 1 week from tonight, myself, Socko, Dave Carter, it's AEW Full Gear, the watch-along next Sunday night. What a week as we are planning a record, fans. I hope you're sitting down. 50 programs for the month of November. 50. And one guy is going to edit them all. And it's not the guy with the socks. So let's set some more records. I mentioned earlier, before you joined us, Matt, the month of October, even though I don't have the metrics for October the 31st, we already set the record for the most views in 1 month after what I read for October 30th. So we're thrilled about that, and we want to do even more in the month of November with all of the superstars we have coming in for the toy drive. I certainly think we can make it happen and grow the Boston wrestling sports family. Also, again, folks, if you're not in the mood for horror movies tonight, for less than a supersized bag of Snickers, head on over to patreon.com/Boston Wrestling for early ad-free access to Wrestling Insiders, along with our world-renowned studio shoot interview DVD series and more. Help us keep the lights on. Help us keep the wrestling legends working. Slick Rick B's favorite, the Super Chat button, is open for business. Don't forget to tip the bartender for all of our hard work. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for a Wrestling Insiders flashback. From myself, the prodigy, Matt Degnan, until we speak again, all of you ghouls and goblins, you and yours, be well and stay healthy. Wrestling fans, the 9th annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive is here. Coronavirus has been the Grinch in preventing a live wrestling event from taking place in 2020, but November and December will bring you an unbelievable series of live television tapings, raffles, merchandise, and cyber autograph signings, including 2 all-inclusive VIP packages you're not going to want to miss out on. We'll discuss a little later in this video. Let's take a look at this all-star lineup of superstars headed your way for the holiday season. Recent WWE NXT Cruiserweight Champion Lio Rush who's going to be co-hosting Wrestling Insider's Rush Hour, the miniseries. Kicks off our 2020 efforts Thursday, November the 5th. Leo was the first to open his heart to our efforts to keep Paul Bearer's name alive and put smiles on kids' faces. Then on Saturday night, November the 14th, WWE Hall of Famer, Mr. USA Tony Atlas will be with us again, signing autographs, meeting, greeting online, as well as having his renowned artwork available. Friday night, November the 20th, Sunday night, November the 22nd, during our Survivor Series watch-along, former Intercontinental and Tag Team Champion Marty Jannetty will be with us live. When it comes to Marty, expect the unexpected. Early December explodes with brand new superstars coming to MWF Studios for the very first time on Friday night, December the 4th, during WWE SmackDown. Join former Intercontinental Champion and Nation of Domination member Savio Vega, with rumors that the martial arts expert Kwang may join us as well. On Saturday, December the 5th, batten down the hatches, former WWE and WCW Tag Team Champions Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs, the Nasty Boys, will be live in studio for which should be an extremely memorable taping and cyber autograph signing. Great chance to get one of the top tag teams of the 80s and 90s together. Sunday, December the 6th, we're going to have an NXT TakeOver watch-along with WWE Hall of Famer Bushwhacker Luke. From 1988 through 1996, Luke had a memorable run in WWE with a career spanning the globe since the 60s. Friday night, December the 11th, one of the most powerful superstars in the history of professional wrestling, the Warlord, joins us in studio, looking back at his big run in the WWF from 1988 through 1992. Saturday night, December the 12th, join us for a rare appearance by a superstar that was undefeated in the WWF for nearly 2 years, Native American Tatanka. We cap it off Sunday, December the 13th, with one of the future stars of professional wrestling, having competed here in Boston Wrestling MWF, more recently in the Ring of Honor Pure Title Tournament, Wheeler Yuta. John Cena Sr. is going to be taking part in a live cyber signing as well, and is working on recruiting even more superstars to join our efforts to update Santa Claus's GPS to find every kid's house in 2020. You never know who or what to expect as we work our magic to create smiles on kids' faces around the globe, around the clock. VIP packages are available now. Early bird pricing through November the 15th. It's limited to 50 fans. The VIP Elite package, that comes with one autograph photo of all 11 featured superstars, plus a bonus Kwang autographed 8x10. It also includes an autographed Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive 2020 11x17 poster, and a raffle ticket to win a package of WWE NXT 11x14 autographed posters, thanks to our friends at NXT down in Orlando. We also have a standard VIP package that includes one autograph photo of each of our 11 featured superstars, plus a raffle ticket to win a limited edition Drew McIntyre, one of only 36 WrestleMania 36 autographed 8x10 photo from our friends at WWE. If you're not interested in an all-inclusive VIP package, don't worry. Each superstar will be available for individual autographs. A mail order is also available for your own personal items. Don't worry, if you can't join us for all of the live cyber autograph signings that are going to be streaming online, your 8x10 photo will still be signed and mailed to your home. If you get a VIP package after a superstar's signing is already taking place, again, don't worry, they're going to sign plenty for the entire holiday season. Those that purchase individual photos, they'll be shipped right after the signing takes place. The VIP packages will be shipped in one giant package beginning December the 14th. We continued to miss the late, great Paul Bearer each and every day. His heart of gold continues to shine with our annual Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive efforts, and this year, again, will be no exception. 2020, it's been a rough year for all of us, but get ready for a season of Boston wrestling sports memories and legends while putting smiles on kids' faces. In December, that's what it's all about. VIP packages and individual autographs are available now at bostonwrestling.com.